Notification volume 0%.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Blindformers. I am your host, Blind Prime, and for today I have for you Transformers War for Cybertron Kingdom Galvatron. Galvatron is a leader class, and as leader classes go, he's one of the best ones I have experienced throughout the entirety of War for Cybertron line. All the other leader class seem to come with, armor and extra accessories, and turns out they're just a Voyager class figure with a bunch of extra bells and whistles. This guy ain't that. This guy is straight up a leader class. So, first off, let's look at his height. So, I got my handy dandy height Lego panel here. So, just going to grab from the tips of his little ear things and drag my finger over. So, we got 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. 24 studs high, as actually. Let me straighten him out and redo that, because it may be 25. Let's see. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Yep, I was right. 25 studs tall whenever he's all straightened out in his beautimous look. This guy is a lot of fun. We've got his crazy nemesis parts on his back. For some reason his arm is weird. Here we go. Alright, let's see if we can compare him to Bumblebee. Here's our Bumblebee right here. Bumblebee stands to... we'll just take off the Nemesis guns, seeing as one just fell off in my hand. They don't really hold on too well. Alright, Bumblebee is... Get your arm out of the way, Galvatron. It stands all the way up to the bottom of Galvatron's side skirts. So, right below his crotch, or right at his crotch level. All right, there you go, Bumblebee. You can go away now. All right. This guy comes with a few things. I've got his blaster cannon here with a, some blast effects on it. The blast effects on the blaster cannon, the end of it is very wide. And so not all of your blast effects that you have acquired during the entirety of War for Cybertron will actually fit in there. For instance, I had to use one of these blast effects that I don't even know where it came from. It's either Omega Supreme, Jetfire, or the Skylinks. But you see, the smaller, these weird blast effects that came with Omega Supreme actually do fit in there pretty well. The little explosion missile things. So that's pretty nice. And then I have this effect here. Let's talk about siege ports before we continue on. We've got 1, 2, then 3, 4, so 6 on each arm. And then we've got none on his back. Well, there is one that can be considered a siege port. Yeah, there's one siege port on his back. He has no siege ports on his front. He has no siege ports around his head. He has a single siege port on his leg, somewhere. And then he's got one siege port on the bottom of each foot. So as siege ports go, that's 4, 6, 10, 11 siege ports, the average. I wish they had thrown more siege ports on it, but this is Galvatron. He doesn't need extra weaponry. This is Galvatron. Let's start him on the transformation. He does come with this really neat Matrix of Leadership on a chain, but it's all just one piece. I think it would have been more fun if this chain had a peg on it and the Matrix could fit on and off. Actually, wait a minute. The Matrix, it does. It does have a peg. So you can put anything here other than a Matrix. Like, for instance, let's set the Matrix off to the side. Where's the blast effect? Where did I just do with my blast effects? I must show off. Ah, there's a blast effect. Will he fit on that, though? No, too big. Anyway, that's pretty neat. I did not realize that this Matrix of Leadership will come off the chain, but there you are. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to set that off to the side. He comes with this Nemesis which is his ship. It comes in two pieces. What you do with these two pieces is you feel on the flatter side, the side that doesn't have a siege port or a siege peg. You'll feel a divot and then a little bump, and that allows these two guys to form together to create the Nemesis ship. And yes, indeed, this ship is pretty tiny. A tiny little ship, but this ship is scaled to the HasLab Unicron, and for some reason I can't get these pieces together today. And you're just not wanting to become a whole. There we go. So yeah, you can have the Nemesis. You could set this up on your Unicron, I guess. I think there's a spot there. I'm not sure, but there you go. You got yourself a little ship if you have the Unicron to have your little tiny Galvatron fly. We'll set the Matrix of Leadership off to the side, and next on the list of things to take off before transformation is this barrel gun. Now, his crazy arm barrel gun that he had in the movie, you know, bad comedy star Scream, and then kills him. It's actually can unpeg from the part that plugs into the arm, so you can then do things like, you know, have him wield it like a club. Like, I'm not, Scar Scream, I'm not going to shoot you. That's too good for you. I'm instead going to beat you to death with the barrel of my gun. Yes. My Leonard Nimoy Galvatron sucks. So, let's put this back. There we go. Set that off to the side. Next up on the list is, let's get to the transformation. This guy's transformation is a lot of fun. I have enjoyed it. Fun-wise, I think it's really cool. Oh, and before I forget to mention, you can still pick up Galvatron today. Some stores are selling him at, $49.99, the usual normal price. Other stores are selling him at the $54.99 or $55.99. I forget what the new price is exactly, but so some stores are selling it at the old price, some stores are selling it at the new price. Good luck. They are arriving in stores as we speak, so you should have access to it. So let's get on. Now, you transform him. This, like I said, this transformation is kind of neat. It's kind of showcasing all little parts of transformations from the entirety of this. So let's disconnect his arms to start with. All you have to do is grab these little nubbins that are on either side of his head. And they're his little shoulder pauldron things. And you just pull them. And they will unsnap him, the arms from his central body and leave you down here. Now, this is a Galvatron. Yeah. Now he can scratch in places he could never reach before. All right. Then, after you've done that, you can disconnect the back of his backpack from his central core area. That's easy enough to figure out. The central core is kind of rounded, and then it goes into this backpack thing that has this point that would fall above his head. This little point that's at the top of the backpack gets folded backwards on its hinge until it can rest easily in a spot that is specifically built. There is a rectangular style peg, and in the spike that's on the top of the backpack, there is a rectangular style peg hole, and that just gets snapped in there. Sugar, what are you doing? Yeah? What? What? What's wrong? You want to go out? But I'm making a video. Can you be patient? Yeah, she can be patient. All right. Now, take that backpack and move it back on its hinge, which will disconnect it from this core bit that his chest and his head sit on, and the arms and the backpack connected to. And this is actually going to be the front of his vehicle mode, or his alternate mode. So this thing can unfold right below the head on the back, where you feel the 5mm port that would plug into the back of the inside of the backpack. You want to pull that section, and it will fold out on its own hinge. And this will allow the head and the front chest to fold in. But this part is tricky, guys. This head has to be folded in correctly, or things screw. Ow. I hurt myself. So you want to fold the head into this area, but it doesn't like to go completely. And this has been the biggest headache with this guy. But you get a snap. Don't worry, that's a good snap. That's not a bad snap, I think. And then after you've snapped that head into place, you can easily just fold the front of his body, or his front chest piece on top of this rounded thing. And then you fold the rounded thing together, hiding the head inside of it. Now that we have done that, this rounded thing can now move to, oh no, there's some parts on him that just like to fall off. For instance, this crotch piece, it's on its own hinge, and I don't get it, because this piece actually folds on top of the crotch. So that's what we're attempting now. You just have to fold it over and down, and it will rest on top of his crotch where it was before. Okay, now that that's finished, we're going to raise up the arms to get them out of the way for a moment as we move on to the feet. We got to make them stable platform. So these feet are fun. First off, you want to go onto the back of the legs, and you want to disconnect these little little flaps. And the hinge for the flaps are facing outwards, so when you unhinge them, they both will move away from the robot. And once you have unhinged those things, continue unfolding them until they are nice. Then fold the heel pegs in, the heel struts in. Then rotate each leg 90 degrees so that these two pieces that you just unfolded can meet each other. But we're not doing that yet. Spread the legs out so that you can reach inside of them. Now we have to actually remove unpeg some stuff from in here and unfold some stuff. So this is a little tricky, but you can do it. So what you do is you follow the heel, the foot, take the foot and fold it on its ankle pivot, and this will bring out a little bitty thing that has a caster wheel. And you will want to follow that step with the other side as well. So fold the foot on its heel peg, and that should bring out this little thing. And then rotate the foot on each of them so that that foot is level with the caster wheel thingy. Do it on this side too. There we go. And then you want to ensure that this stuff is folded out as much as possible. Do it on this side too. There we go. And once we have accomplished that, these legs can fit together to create the back support structure for his space artillery cannon mode. We just got to line up a few pegs here. This one always gets me because I always forget, and I'm going to remind you here. This doesn't peg normally like you would just kind of snap them together. This one actually requires that you find a square little nubbin on one of the caster wheel pieces, the little bits that have the wheel, and on the other one there's a little slot. So you take that square little nubbin and then you position it over the slot and then you slide it down. Once you've done that, you've locked those pieces into place. Yeah, and when you're untransforming him, don't forget to unthread that. Don't just yank it out. That will break it. Once you have done that, you want to squeeze the legs together and connect those 2 points that we talked about earlier that unfolded from the back. There we go. Once those 2 points are plugged in, we are basically done with the legs for now. Now we will take these arms and this central body core, because all of this stuff now has to move around just for a moment. So lower the arms down on their little arm hinge thingies. Make sure that you fold each of the skirts in such a way that they will not inhibit the arm movement. We will be getting to those momentarily. Now that you have these legs set up, you then take this central core bit and you're going to kind of flip it around a bit so that it lines up with the legs. There we go. You want to make sure that the back assembly of his space artillery lines up with the core. This is all about feeling and touching and ensuring that everything is in the place it's supposed to be. So, once you have completed all that, now it's time to finish with the arms. The arms should fold naturally, unless you forgot to move one of the skirts out of the way. But if you have moved both of the skirts towards the front so that they don't interfere with the arms, then the arms will plug in, and these skirts actually have some bits on the back of them that will allow them to plug into those knobby bits that are on the shoulders. Now, let's finish up with the arms. First, you want to rotate each of the fists inwards to fit in a little bubble, and then you want to then get these arms to connect to the shoulder peg. There we go. Now, the rounded shoulder has two types of pegs. It's got a rounded peg, and then on one side, and then on the other side, it's got kind of the squarish peg. Now, that squarish peg is going to fit into the upper arm, lower arm area. The forearm has a little male peg that fits into that female peg area. So we're just going to peg that in right now. Since it's all on rounded stuff, it may be difficult to actually get that peg in. And then you want to move both of the tank treads that are on each, there's a tank tread on each arm. Those get moved underneath the arms. And make sure that gets snapped into place. And this part is still, I'm actually a little unsure of. Sugar, do you mind? There we go. And once these bits get folded in, make sure that the skirts get folded in. And then, no, not like that. There we go. This part is a little weird because there's so much movement in these treads that it's basically, you could do a lot here. And there's a lot of ways you can screw it up here too. There we go. Oh, there it is. Aha! And then that snapped into place. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Look at that. Okay. Finally, we come to the piece de la resistance of him. We take his big old gun. We're going to go ahead and thread the matrix of leadership onto the gun barrel. And then you plug the gun barrel into the front. Here we go. And then these Nemesis pieces can fit wherever you want on them. And there you are. That's how you transform your Galvatron. It's a weird transformation, but it's a lot of fun. And you can actually find elements from multiple Transformers from the entire series in it. It's kind of a callback to a lot of things. Here is Cliff Jumper. We're just going to put Cliff Jumper on the back of this dude. Cliff Jumper will go from the tail end of his vehicle mode to the big nubbin on the back. Better said, if you put Cliff Jumper at the very end of this, there we go. He will go to about midway up the treads. There you go, Cliff Jumper. You drive away now. Alright, let's grab this. So in Galvatron's Space Artillery mode, which is honestly my favorite. Tanks are cool, but Space Artillery is cooler. He's a space howitzer. He go lengthwise, not counting the barrel. We're just counting the treads and his back treads. He is 17, 18, 19. He is 19 studs long on that. Counting his barrel and the actual rounded gun piece, that is, holy crap, there. That is 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. That's 22 studs long, just the gun part, not counting the treads and all the other stuff that holds him into place. Width-wise, he sits at a solid wide. Yeah, he's a wide guy. All right, let's see. We got 11, 12. He's 12 studs wide. He's 12 studs wide. That's pretty cool. Well, yeah, guys, this has been the War for Cybertron Galvatron. I hope that you have enjoyed the show, and I hope that you have learned how to transform him. He is a fun transformation, and I recommend him. He is a really good transformer. He's got good parts about him. He feels heavy in your hand. He's worth every cent. The best leader class to come out of Transformers War for Cybertron so far. And yes, I'm putting him above the Earthrise Optimus Prime. Mainly because Earthrise Optimus Prime is a Voyager class hiding as a leader class. And this guy is straight up leader. He's leader all the way. Well, until next Prime, bye bye.